This is Hit Publish, the first podcast dedicated to uncovering heroic businesses secretly navigating the ever-changing digital landscape. Each episode, we'll play host to leaders in their fields discussing their adoption of the latest digital trends and related technologies, addressing the total effects on the way we market businesses and brands across all of our industries. And occasionally, we'll pay homage to the technology giants who dictate our online lives and the platforms they provide, reminding ourselves of the self-inflicted and inevitable misuse of personal data. So if this all sounds good to you, skip the terms and conditions, ignore the privacy policy, and hit subscribe.
Hello.
Good morning. Oh, it's not morning, is it?
It's not afternoon. Our listeners don't know, so yeah, but it's good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
We're back.
We are.
Feels like it's been a while.
It has a little bit.
It has, to be fair, yeah.
We got all that Christmas and New Year and all that ting out of the way.
That's it. How's the diets going?
Diet?
All right, yeah.
Are you actually on one?
No, not a traditional diet, no. But, okay, I'm going to get slated for this. But I'm not eating meat from Monday to half the week, basically, Monday till Thursday lunchtime.
Okay.
Have you seen a program on Netflix called Game Changers at all? No, and I won't bore you with it. This isn't like a vegan podcast or anything, but it makes sense. I recommend you watch it.
Okay.
And all the goodness that you get from meat mostly just comes from the plants that meat is eaten before it's killed, and then you eat it. And I also saw this Match of the Day documentary type program where they went to see Forest Green Rovers, which is the local football club to here. Well, it's a few miles out in the forest. But the owner of that club is a kind of a crazy born-again vegan type of person. And he's made the whole club completely meat-free. And that's like, if you go there on match day, you can't get your steak pie.
What, are the players meat-free as well?
The players
are they collapsing all over the pitch?
No, well, this is the misconception. And I'm here to fight the corner because their recovery times and their fitness and all that stuff has improved and increased quite a lot since they've given up eating meat. And
hang on, but isn't there science behind the fact that you need that protein?
And amino acids?
Yeah. No. Well, watch this program. Watch Game Changers on Netflix, and then at a future episode, I'm going to ask what you think about it.
Actually,
because Arnold Schwarzenegger's on this Game Changers talking about it, and some other famous like basketball players and all this sort of stuff.
Actually, now you've said, I do remember seeing an advert for that. Yeah. I do remember. I didn't know it was about that though. I thought it was more about like industry and I don't know, like game change, because Arnold Schwarzenegger changed the game.
I've seen a Joe Rogan podcast episode about Game Changers. I didn't know it was Game Changers because I was watching a little clip of it.
Okay.
And they totally debunked everything in that show.
And the other thing that sort of made me think of giving it a go is that the owner of Forest Green Rovers, he's very much against, because you get this kind of, really aggressively vegan people, so to speak. They're like, you should never go near
radical
an animal.
Vegans.
And I don't want to give up that completely, but this chairman said, like, even if people go like one day a week, for example, without eating meat, it's good for your body and it's good for the planet and it's good for all that stuff. But mostly, good for your body and your own person. So,
but why are you doing it?
So
beach bod ready for the summer.
Well, I thought I'd give it a go. It's good for.
Isn't it a bit of a fad?
I don't know. I'll let you know how long I keep it up for. But yeah. Anyway,
well, fair play.
Enough about
well
that.
Done.
Yeah.
But,
have a biscuit.
Thanks. Yeah, a meaty biscuit.
So yeah, it's been a while since we've been back, and open and honest, we're missing a guest.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. He's got coronavirus.
Chris said earlier he's firmly tied to his toilet or something.
Yeah, he can't move too far from the toilet. I hope he's not listening to this. He might well be at some point.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, we all get poorly.
Indeed, yeah.
That happens.
So we thought instead we'd come together because it's been a while and we should do something. And although it's not going to be totally focused around what we originally had planned, which was actually, and we'll mention it, we were going to talk to Graham from Street Pin.
We've just told everyone
he's a guy. He's a guy, yeah.
And his address is, an email address is, well, I mean, he's going to be the next episode, isn't he? So people aren't stupid. They'll figure it out.
Yeah. Could have made it less explicit.
Do I need to cut this out?
No, carry on.
Fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. From Street Pin, and they're currently putting together, it's actually out, isn't it? It's not being put...
Yes, it is. It's been trialled in a few different places.
So it's a community-based location app, am I right? So you know a bit more about it, Chris, than I do.
I don't know loads about it, to be perfectly honest. I was going to, look in. I've heard of it and it looks good. But yeah, I was going to cram research right before the podcast, to be honest.
As organised as ever. Good.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so Graham couldn't make it in, unfortunately. So instead, we thought we'd come together and sort of have a chat a bit more openly about ourselves and a bit more a bit more of an open book, because I do very well at sort of hiding behind and staying out of sight as far as
literally hiding behind everything.
So I've done very well at that, but I think I should share a little bit more. Perhaps we should talk a bit more about Nous, our company, and we should talk a bit more about Nettl, Chris's company, and sort of our trials and tribulations, and get into where we are and how that all happened, and a bit more about what we do, and then hopefully that will lead on to next week, where we will have an actual guest to speak to. We should also say that we're very sporadic with these. So we came together, didn't we, just before New Year? Was it before New Year or just after? I can't remember. And we agreed that going forward we would be more consistent with these episodes, and we've done really well in season 2, episode 1, without a guest. Good. But going forward, we're going to try to be more consistent and do these more regularly, as opposed to just when we feel like it. And we're going to throw in a few bits and bobs as well into the episodes to try and sort of give our listeners more value. And
some cool stuff.
We're going to give away some sort of information, some downloads and that kind of stuff. Just indeed. And let's face it, it's a lead magnet for us to get some more cash in the bank.
Well, it's a bit of digital marketing in itself, isn't it, really? Hopefully
That's it.
Helping people along the way. But
cool. It's a value exchange more than that.
And I guess one thing we did say in our last season 1 wrap up as well was that we'd be videoing season 2. We haven't quite.
So we've already flopped on that one too.
Yeah, we've had a chat about it before hitting record, and we're getting closer. Yeah. Watch this space.
We'll get there. We'll get Ian on camera.
It's just about getting the tech right, isn't it? And setting up what we need to make it work well. We can record stuff easy. We can record audio easy. We can record video easy. But what I don't want to do is spend a week editing it to put it all together, because I haven't got the time. No. So we're trying to find a slick way of just being able to press a button. It does it all for us. So if there's anyone out there that knows how to do that, get in touch.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on. When did I join Nettl?
I don't know. Well, this was pre-Nettl, so we'll explain how we become a Nettl together.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The birth of Nettl between us.
That's right. Well, I came as a freelancer, didn't I? I remember now.
Yeah. You were working client side, weren't you? You were working with
I was in-house. Yeah, that's right. I was at
hotel type place.
That's right. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I was doing in-house marketing for a hotel, a chain of hotels. Brand. Yeah, not a huge brand, a boutique brand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you, first I knew you sent like in a little CV and you're covering sort of information. It kind of went.
It was probably the best CVs I ever had.
We were struggling at the time. We were really desperate. We needed someone specialising in Word and clip art, and your CV came in.
Oh, good.
No. When your CV did land, I remember because we'd recently had our designer developer up and leave, and running a sort of a web and design agency that I did, that's a bit of a problem, as you can imagine. So I was I didn't have scars from the last sort of designer person leaving, but I was kind of like regrouping and rebuilding.
I think, being in the position I'm in now, I think that surely all startups have that problem, the freelance. It's painful all the time, and they're painful to manage, and it's really hard work.
Yeah.
Thankfully, though, in my time, and I don't think they were back then, but things like, there's loads of websites out there now where you can actively put a job on a job board and
someone pick it up and
and it's been streamlined. It's a bit slicker. I mean, it's still primarily full of not such great talent, but it's much easier to dip in. Yeah, if you need something quick. Yeah.
Because when you joined, was it was just me and Laura? Was it back in those days?
It was Laura. Yeah, I remember Laura. Yeah, and
so Laura was my first employee. She's an apprentice, but the first person that I took on, dealing with receptionist duties, I guess, taking inquiries, but then doing print quotes and all that sort of stuff.
But your good lady was involved as well. I remember my first day. Louise was there helping out in some way.
I think she must have been pregnant at the time. Then,
she was indeed. I remember.
So that helps us date this thing actually, because my eldest is 8. So it was about 9 years ago. 2011ish or something.
Granddad.
There we go. Glad we got to that. And so look, my wife was in helping because my previous business partner had left and gone off to seek a regular income, which the novelties like that you don't always enjoy as a business owner, as any young business owners would know out there.
Indeed. We should mention at this point, we were Absolute Creative Marketing.
Absolute Creative Marketing, yes.
And still are, really.
Which is indeed still the limited company that's been going, since 2007. And we'd had, at that time, a franchise of printing.com bolted on to our business.
Does that still exist now?
It does, yeah. And they've been growing those a little bit, actually. They've been getting more printing.coms.
Yeah.
We're ticking along, a design agency, but always doing quite a bit of web and using this printing franchise that sits on the side of the business. Your CV came in. We were like, oh, hello, let's have a little look. Did
I send a picture in of me?
No, as if you'd have got past stage one. If you'd have put a picture
I
of you.
would have thought it was that nailed it, if anything.
You can't remember if we got you in or if we went and met. I remember meeting at the pub down the road, but I think that was as we were finalising our agreement a bit more.
Yeah, that was more when it was becoming official. But no, I came in and had an interview with you, and I thought, who is this clown? And what is this place?
Indeed. but yeah, at that time, again, running a fairly small business. Well, yeah, very small. Me and an apprentice on the employee at the time. I was in that situation where we wanted someone like you, needed someone like you and your talents, the design and the web and all that sort of stuff, but couldn't offer you a big fat salary to put you on, really. So we had a sensible chat, and it was kind of, I think, if you come and work in-house here with us, we'll sort of pay you for work doing on a freelance kind of basis. I think is that kind of how it worked. I think
it was exactly that.
Yeah. And then I hope there's not any employment experts listening. I don't know if you're allowed to. It was all fine. It was all good. Yeah.
Paid them tea and coffee.
Yeah.
I was getting money in the bank.
And then it kind of got mutually. It worked for both parties, and we got on all right.
I think so.
And then at some point down the line, we got you fully signed up, and things got a bit more stable. You kind of helped us get out of those woods. And employed you. And
this is weird because it's like I don't actually know the story. So it's like seeing this for the first time.
Yeah. This is it.
So when all those CVs came piling in, why'd you pick his ugly face?
It was a well-timed CV sent in, I'd say.
Oh, brilliant. It could have been anything.
No. Again,
a letter written with a quill.
I was sat by the letterbox just waiting for a CV to come in. No, we hadn't even sort of properly advertised yet, sort of thing. We did. I don't know if we put a job out, but because we thought, this is great. Yeah, let's see. And like I said,
do you believe in fate? Was it fate?
Work was good. Kind of had the skills that we needed and got on well, which is a major thing in a small business. And
just touch on that. What that's reminded me of. Yeah. I nailed the job just by being in the right place at the right time.
Not because you're good.
Yeah, but it reminded me of. Do you remember Steve Bartlett talking about? Because obviously he being the agency that they obviously get bombarded with CVs all the time, and it's just boring.
Yeah.
And I was watching an interview with him, and he was talking about how people apply. So now they're coming up with really creative
pigeons and all sorts.
That's what I was going to say.
Read your mind.
Yeah, so some people are thinking of creative ways to get a CV on his desk, and someone flew an owl through his office window, and the owl dropped it on his desk, and the owl flew off.
Right.
I don't know if you got the job, actually. Did you get the job?
I don't remember that one.
I would have, just with sheer effort. Yes, you're in.
Yeah.
Well, that was very much not the case in this situation.
Was it scribbled in crayon?
It was more tumbleweed. That came in. No, that was it, really. Right. So then you joined, and so what were you doing in early days? A bit of design setting.
It was quite tedious, boring stuff, really.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? It was sort of leaflet design and business cards and all that kind of stuff, which to me at that point was good, because the reason why I left the stable, relatively well-paid job was because I was bored of doing the same thing over and over with the same brand.
Yep.
Working in house, that's sort of how it works. If you're
live and die by the same set of brand guidelines.
Exactly. Yeah, it's quite boring. So although in hindsight, business cards and leaflets and all that kind of stuff isn't the most exciting work in the world, it was exciting because it was all new brands and new people and
different colours.
Different colours. Basically. Exactly. And back then there was no WordPress was definitely around, but it wasn't anywhere near as sort of established as it is now.
No.
And building websites wasn't as sort of
mainstream
as it is now, or as required as it is now. So we was very much doing old school sort sort of HTML, wasn't it? Hard-coded HTML sites, starting off with a visual.
Yeah.
Actually, I say that I must have had Angel employed with me at that time.
Yeah, you did actually.
Yeah. Apologies for the oversight there, Angel. But we had Angelique working away as a hardcore little dev building those aforementioned HTML websites, etc.
That's right.
So we needed the design. Yeah,
Sounds like a really laboured process.
That's how websites used to be. Yeah.
But
When we were young, Sam, that's what you had to do. None of this drag and drop stuff.
But even today, to be fair, if it's a big project and conversion rates are important and user experience is important, you still go through that old school process of visual prototyping, build.
Yeah.
But there's tools now available to us that allow you to skip that step if it's a small business and haven't got the budget to do that, to skip that step and just start building the site straight away. But yeah, I used to sit there in Photoshop, which is entirely the wrong tool, but sit there in Photoshop and do website visuals.
Really?
Start page by page.
None of this XD stuff.
Or there was no
like that.
proper,
No sketch, no.
I remember you playing around with some of those other, and that might have been a bit later in this scenario, but some of those other website building things.
Yeah, when websites
Adobe
were starting to become more design oriented over code orientated. So things like Adobe Muse, which actually is
I remember I used that.
Did you?
Yeah, my first ever website was built.
Yeah,
on
I
Muse.
think that was one of sort of many that started to come about where you could just if you knew how to use Photoshop and InDesign, then you could build a website. Yeah. But my God, it was clunky and terrible.
Yeah.
And features and functionality was awful. But anyway, so literally page by page visuals in Photoshop, and then I sign those off with the client, hand them over to Angel, and Angel would turn them into a working website.
Cool.
And that's how it used to be. And we charged next to nothing for it.
What?
In hindsight.
Really?
Yeah. We didn't charge a lot for it.
Wow. Bargains were being had.
They were.
That's it.
Yeah.
But again, that's a situation, isn't it, of when you start up and you don't know what to charge and you sort of don't know your worth and all those sorts of things.
So then what happened? Let's fast forward 2 or 3 years.
Okay, so I guess, the next big main milestone was we were working away. We'd had a couple more employees by this point.
Yeah.
Like Josh.
Had I become a partner by then?
Jake. And
how'd you become a partner?
Yeah, I think so.
He said, Ian, you're brilliant. Sign here.
I guess it was just, I don't know, really, over time. And like I said, we worked for a while and kind of got on the pay and got, come on, I'd rather have a successful company, a bigger company, and be a smaller part of it than just be a one-man band sort of thing. So Ian was crucial to the business and the growth of the business sort of thing. So I think we just kind of went, let's make you a director and then let's give you some shares over the time and that sort of stuff. And then
cash those in, mate. Ching ching.
And I get
not quite the same as Tesla, is it?
The main next milestone, I remember the big boss man that formed printing.com that we were sort of still part of and pally with.
What's his name?
Tony
Rafferty. Big time player. I mean, like in the world that he's in. Yeah, he's worth a few quid and he's done a few things and
a story about how he created printing.com from, I won't bore you with that particular story.
But he started from the gutter, like leaflet dropping at nightclubs or something.
Oh, really?
Flyers, and building that. And then go around. Okay, I'm partly telling you the story now, but when he was at uni, sort of thing, he'd go around different like nightclubs and say to them, again, back in the day, you either get like crappy printed, like black only little flyers that were cheap to bang out, or like high quality, little promo flyers. Kind of went around the nightclub owners and said, if I can get you those good quality flyers for the price of that cheap flyer, would you give me the work? They all went, of course.
Yeah, why not?
So we kind of got the artwork from say 10 nightclubs, then went to a printer and went, can you put these all up on a sheet and then print them and cut them back out and distribute them back round, and was able to get those economies of scale in that batch printing model.
Cool. Smart guy.
That idea then sort of grew to the printing.com model, which was essentially 300 outlets around the country doing that same thing, putting all their artwork in, printing it and distributing it all back out sort of thing. So anyway, he come along and to see what we were doing and just catch up, and because he knew we were quite web heavy as well compared to the other like printing.com outlets and design studios, we were doing quite a lot of web and doing some all right things.
We were,
that's
a bit
more
in
WordPress by this stage, and
more than any of the other.
And kind of talked about, he could see the web industry having the same problems as the printing industry did all those years
Right.
before.
Yep.
I.e., you've got, us working away on a website here, we might be overcoming challenges for like a hairdresser or something, and that needs a booking system, and that needs whatever else specific threading that you might need.
Yep.
But there may well be another web agency in Manchester or anywhere
wherever,
doing the same kind of thing, causing, reaching the same kind of problems, but we're all just
separate
designing it and coming over those hurdles.
So essentially he came up with sort of a distributed manufacturing model where you shove all your problems into one place and then they get shoved out.
Well, not quite that. I guess, no, like, and all the websites that we do are designed and built locally. They're all in the studio, but that kind of joined up thinking and learning of making the first sort of network of web studios around the country. Was his idea sort of thing. And we're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I guess me with the memories of when previously, like prior to Ian, a web person up and left, all of a sudden, you're stuck,
on your own.
Being part of this bigger network, kind of went, that's just a bit of a comfort blanket and a strength and infrastructure and support that's sat there really. So we kind of talked about this concept and we're like, oh, maybe, but I guess if we're honest, probably a bit skeptical or something.
I think we were. I think we thought maybe we're a bit too big for our boots, and we go, what's this printing company trying to get involved in web for? Leave that to the pros.
Because they played to trying to do bits of web a long time previously,
and it didn't work out, did it? Yeah. So we went. So they then held this like event at their. It was in Birmingham, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
They held an event where they were going to talk about. Oh, was it already built? Was that the first studio?
Yes, they had actually.
So they had
converted
like a prototype.
Own printing.com stores into a Nettl studio.
Right.
Yeah, as sort of a prototype and a test bed. So we all went there, all the printing.coms, or a lot of the printing.coms went there to check it out and see what it was all about. And it was all done up and it all looked quite cool and quite slick and very, very agency like. The idea being just sort of leading with web really and helping businesses. I guess as times evolved, again, back in the day, you'd start out your business and you'd want to get your logo done. Everyone still needs their logo and branding done. But then you might get your business cards. Well, now it's kind of more, I want to get onto a web. So by having web above the door, as of all the things that we could help a business with, putting that first, people go, I'm looking for that. I'll go and see them.
Give them what they want.
You got in on that relationship a bit earlier.
And web, like we were saying earlier, web very much used to be quite a slow, laborious process of consultation, design visuals.
So you'd have to really be coming in with big budgets to even think about web back in the day. Or not big, but
we didn't charge.
You didn't charge appropriately, but
you should have. Yes, maybe. But their sort of model was, okay, how can we do this at scale, quickly and cost effectively? So they built systems to help you do that. They built their own sort of content management system, if you like. Is that still around? Bramble?
It is. Yeah. To be honest, we don't use it a lot. We prefer.
What is it called?
Bramble.
It is called Bramble. Yeah. So that became, and because all of their studios were full of designers, old school designers that would design for print. Well, how could they utilize that skill set in a web world where it's typically heavy code and that kind of stuff? So then they built this system that enabled designers that knew how to use the likes of Photoshop and Illustrator, etc., that could use tools similar to build a website. Okay. So it was their version of Adobe Muse at that time.
It's quite impressive.
Yeah. Cool. And I think they invested quite a lot of money and all that kind of stuff. And and
I think because they've said even when printing was their main thing, they've almost been, in terms of what they spend money on their investment, it's been in like the software and systems. So yes, they've got printers sat at the end of it, the production line, but actually it was all about uploading the files and doing the file checks and all that stuff was all the IT infrastructure around it really. So
cool.
Converted that and used that for web.
Moving on.
So we went down there and we had a look and it was all good and we signed on the dotted line to turn ourselves into
a Nettl. And
was it exciting or was it like
first in the country to be the first partner studio, the first
really?
Nettl to open up? Yeah. They'd done a couple of their own stores.
Yeah, but you're the first.
Their own ones, and we were the first.
Nice one.
Gloucester on the map for that.
Yeah, and they helped us out with sort of kitting out. Well, we moved. Actually, we moved to a bigger office, a bigger space, and kitted it all out to make it look like a Nettl studio. Now, sort of behind the scenes, absolute creative is the fundamental. Was like the umbrella.
Yeah.
That's how the model works. You keep your name, you keep your business as a limited company, and then you sort of slap the Nettl branding
next to it.
Yeah. So it was initially, is it still? I don't know, but it was initially Absolute Creative, or Nettl incorporating.
It officially is, but we're happy to just go with the Nettl sort of brand. Because I think when we first started it, we were conscious that was our local brand, and we were building up a name locally. Precious, so you kind of want to keep that, but. No, I don't think people care, too much. So yes, we're Nettl. That's got the bigger, clout and the cooler brand that we're happy with. But yeah, I'm employed by, and our invoices come out from Absolute still. But
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, so, and then
then you became a Nettl.
Became a Nettl and changed the world.
Did that for good for you? Yeah, it's
good. And then I decided, fuck this.
Yeah.
So you're let's put a structure. So you're Nettl for a few years.
Yeah.
By the way, when you guys met up, I was 15 years old. Just in case you feel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Just to rub it in a bit more.
Whatever.
So you were Nettl for a little bit, and then what happened? Sort of a couple of years ago, if you fast forward, because I'm presuming it was all fine and dandy. You were really happy, growing,
doing
all
well. Good. It was growing. It was growing slowly. We were, fully embracing
steadily,
the Nettl
not slowly.
Thing. Yeah, exactly. Lots of trials and tribulations along the way, and some walls that we hit, and all of that kind of stuff.
What was the most interesting trial and tribulation for that you can talk about?
I don't think.
I saw your face there, Chris. You're
I didn't know what. I don't know. I don't think we had any.
No, it was nothing terrible. Just standard small business, startup kind of stuff.
We added Cheltenham. We set up a studio in Cheltenham as well along that time.
Yeah. So we had two. We had two Nettls. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Gloucester and Cheltenham. And
nice.
We employed more. We took on another partner. We
got up to about 10 people, I think, at its height. And this isn't the time or place to go into the trials and those tribulations of managing that many people and all that sort of stuff. It is always
it's hard work, and finding the right talent. And I think that's knowing what I know now. Yeah, I would have definitely. Well, I think we can both agree we've done things differently in talent searching and finding the right people and keeping them. Because when you find someone that's good, I think it's really valuable, and you should keep them sticky. So it was all good, and all was going well. Sam.
Yes.
Remember that 2-part episode we did about search engine optimization?
Yes. How could I forget? It was amazing.
Well, off the back of that, our very own resident SEO expert, Chris, has given up some of his time to help out some of our listeners with his top tips to help your website rank better within search and ultimately encourage more traffic, which equals more leads, which equals more sales, which equals cash in the bank.
All right.
If you head on over to hitpublish.digital/web ranker Chris, need to be careful how I say that, where there will be a simple form for you to schedule a 30-minute discovery call with Chris, where he'll audit your website and provide you with some simple top tips and easy to implement strategies to help your website rank better.
Yes, all jokes aside, Chris really knows what he's talking about, and to have 30 minutes of his time free of charge is a great win. So head over to hitpublish.digital/web ranker Chris to schedule your free session now.
Is it a first come first serve thing?
Yeah, I think we should do like first 5 or
10. First 10. Head on over to hitpublish.digital/web ranker Chris to schedule your 30-minute discovery call. But then
you were doing bits of your own with consent and stuff. You were doing bits of like your Hooper design and that sort of stuff on the side.
Yeah,
working on some of those projects.
Yeah, I to help my salary,
top up your own.
To top my salary. Yeah, I've done some freelance bits on the side, and it's fine. It was just the odd thing here and there, and it started to get a bit more and more.
Oh, okay.
And I was open and honest. I was falling out of love with Nettl, the brand. Not because there's absolute...
Not because of Chris's bad coffee or anything.
No.
Not that your coffee's bad.
No. I guess I wanted my own baby.
Yeah.
And it was within arm's reach because I was already doing the freelance stuff. Yeah. And so I was falling out of love with the Nettl brand. Not because there's anything wrong with the Nettl brand. It does what it and targets the right businesses. It's doing the right thing for what it's meant to be doing, and it does it very well. I just wanted different things.
Personal.
I wanted to do more sort of UI related stuff. I wanted to do more
UI
CRO. Yeah, I wanted to do more of that kind of stuff. And Nettl just doesn't do that. It doesn't. That's not his thing, and that's fine. But I wanted to do more of that. So I wanted to focus on CRO specifically. I wanted to
conversion rate optimization for those who don't.
I wanted to concentrate on that. I wanted to concentrate on user experience, user interface design, and building websites that made people do stuff.
I learned about the Z thing, by the way, the other week.
The what?
The Z thing on Airbnb, and it's basically, I've read a Medium article.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a design thing.
You're going to have to explain.
It's basically how people really go scan from left to right and left again and all that kind of stuff. I only just recently learned about it the other week.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what
it's quite cool. Quite interesting.
That's what I was interested in, or started to grow an interest in, and I wanted to build websites that drove people to do something, and that was the point of building that website, as opposed to just being a shop window.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what I wanted to do, and I knew that Nettl wasn't going to go down that route, which is fine, and they do what they do really well.
That kind of stuff is a bit more boutique specialized, isn't it? Anyway.
I suppose it is.
It's a whole other industry. Yeah, I think Nettl are doing a bit more of that these days, sort of thing. But absolutely, you were ahead of
it's just what I wanted to do. And that's where I focused my efforts. And then I also, through other ways, started to find an interest in advertising.
This is just you being on the internet way past midnight and just looking at nonsense.
Well, through sort of doing through sort of working on user experience projects and that kind of thing, particularly with apps, it kind of naturally led me towards advertising and tracking, particularly tracking. So when you're building these kind of sites, you want to make sure that you're delivering something. And the only way you can do that is by putting tracking in and making sure that you can say, here you go, I have done my job. This says it is. I grew an interest in that, and then I grew an interest in the advertising itself and the content for that advertising. And then I found Facebook ads, and I found Google, and I found all the kind of juicy stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm not great for content as an advertiser, but if you need me to track
the hell out of a Google Ads campaign
or that kind of thing,
you can track when a user flinches.
Exactly, I can do all that kind of stuff and retarget and that kind of thing. So then I really found an interest in that. So I thought, then I kind of hit a wall of where I thought, okay, I think now's the time.
We were ticking along. We had to sit down and have a bit of an awkward chat, didn't we, really?
Yeah, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah. Well, no, and it was kind of, look, I see you're doing that stuff and more of that stuff on the side. Yeah. And, we either need to be kind of fully in
100% committed,
fully in on what we're doing here or not. And that was all a bit awkward, Sam. I'm not going to lie, go through that.
But there was a financial thing for it as well, wasn't there? Like we weren't on the money that we wanted to be on.
No.
At that time. And Absolutely. So I done that extra work and set up that extra bit on the side.
Yeah, to get you to where you want to be.
And it just started to almost equal what I was doing
organically, just by
itself. I never actively done it. It just sort of naturally happened. So I had that awkward conversation with Chris.
Yeah,
but it was all good, wasn't it? We didn't fall out or anything. Evidently, we're still here.
Still but nicely.
I started to set up by myself, and that's when Nous was born.
Yeah.
So Nous, I can't remember why I chose Nous. So Nous is like a slang word for you've got some brains. Yeah, that guy's got some nous about that, or that guy knows what he's talking about. So I don't know how or why I came about that word. I think I remember looking at a book or something like that. I saw it on a book and I thought, that's a cool word. And I'm sort of from London and I was born there. So I thought, do you know what? It ticks the right box. I'll take that. So I did. So Nous was born, and it still isn't 100% where it needs to be, in that there's still elements of my freelance stuff that's trickling around somewhere on the web. It's a long process to move it all over and get it all done. But Nous was born. So then we focus, and Nous solely focuses on the things that I love doing. Yeah, and nothing more. But then
literally,
now I ask the questions because so they knew when did you hop along, or what were you doing?
What was
generally
I doing?
Speaking beforehand?
So I was at university.
I
remember the initial
You were wasting your time at university, wasn't you?
No, I was actually working very hard because I did sort of like an internship at a company in my first year, and they sort of kept me on. I was asking, or Echo, my cousin, put me and you in touch because I need some help with some web design stuff. And that's when I was bumbling about with Adobe Muse and just having a massive nightmare and almost hating my life every day. And all the while I was doing university. So I did that during sort of a summer between first and second year. Worked with that company all throughout my university career. And we had a couple of nights out, a couple of conversations. And I remember the meeting we had at the restaurant where we had some chicken. And that's when he pitched the idea of Nous to me. And in between all that, so when I was in sixth form, I'd started to get into advertising, like just the stuff people see, not necessarily the webby stuff. I've always had an interest in advertising, and I'm always trying to figure out how to sell stuff to people. I don't know why I found it interesting. There's a couple of people.
It's a psychology though more than anything, isn't it?
It is a psychology, and the sort of hidden things, the oblique things that people don't notice until you're in the shop and you're thinking, why the hell am I here again? Or how do I know this brand? Like everyone just knows it. So that's kind of what drew me into that. So anyway, we had that conversation, I think, when I was in my second year, or 2 or 3 years, no, 3 years ago now, 2 years ago, where we had the initial conversation. And then I went away back to university, started doing a bit more on Google Ads, started teaching myself on the interwebs, how to run ads, how to, have successful ad campaigns. In the meantime, I was also learning, so my degree is in consumer psychology, so I was also learning about people and how we think and blah, blah, blah. And in the meantime, I spare time, I'd read a lot about advertising in general. So I'm a huge Dave Trott stan, Rory Sutherland, who's a vice chairman at Ogilvy, who I want to get on this podcast, by the way. So if someone hears this, I want to get him on this podcast because he's like
Didn't he say he would do it as well?
He did say on another podcast, if anyone emails him, he would do it.
Okay.
I'm going to email him at some point and get him in because...
Where's he based? Where's he?
London.
Okay.
But he's sort of like a bit of a hero of mine because he likes to think. He's got a few famous TED Talks, but his thing is thinking like completely outside the box, looking at things that aren't obvious to the everyday person. And that's like, I don't know, I've really connected with that idea, and it's what I want to do and find solutions to things that people don't think of, basically, which is really, it's harder than you think. And these are mostly so it's like solving problems with psychological solutions, not rational ones. His big thing is so they spent like $1 billion or something, a couple billion improving the Eurostar.
Okay.
Or the tunnel or something, that journey between London and France. He said they could have saved all that time on rather than improving the rails. He was like, well, you could just hire the world's top supermodels to walk up and down on the trains and give everyone free champagne, and you've solved the problem.
Why?
Basically, they spent like £1 billion making the trip from London to Paris like 10 minutes faster.
Right.
And he said, rather than do that, you could have just given everyone free Wi-Fi, free champagne, and have supermodels walking up and down the trains, and no one cares that it's like an hour and 10 minutes.
Fair enough.
It's a completely outside. And he's been a bit flippant with that, but he's trying to solve that problem, using a psychological solution rather than a rational one, scientific one.
And I was always, when sort of going through the process of setting up Nous, I was always of the mind that I need someone to help me out to do the bits that I'm shit at.
Right.
Because I don't know where I read it. I think it's a famous quote. I don't know who said it, but it was something you don't hire clever people and then tell them what to do.
Yeah, that's Steve Jobs.
Is it Steve Jobs?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So, and I couldn't agree with that more. So I was hoping that I could just get Sam on board and just say, go on, crack on.
Yeah.
And it just turned the business into a multi-million pound business.
Yeah, I'd go from my exactly 0 years of experience.
You haven't done anything yet. So
just make me £1 billion tomorrow, please.
But yeah, Sam needs to fill the void of really, for me, was content creation and clever content creation and ad creation. What the people see, what yeah, exactly that. Exactly
in terms of ads and like copy and stuff. I love great copy.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a weird passion I have. Weird.
That's fine. And so that's what he does, and that's Nous.
Nice.
Yeah, in a sense. So
And where were you thinking about employing someone else? Where were you with that? Where were you with that chat? I know something you mentioned a while ago.
I think we are at that point now where we need someone to sit there and do the more basic stuff. So there's another little arm to Nous, which
crumbs.
is basically our bread and butter.
Yeah.
And it's called Cake Crumbs, And what that caters to is it caters to startups and small businesses that just need a website quickly and cost effectively.
Yeah.
Think Netflix, but for websites.
Websites and chill.
Yeah. I like it. We built this thing called Cake Crumbs that caters to, because we'd have phone calls from startups and small businesses that were like, we need a website quickly and we need it cheap. And 9 times out of 10, I'd say no. Goodbye, because it's a headache.
Not
right?
on the core, the core people that you're best serving. Yeah,
indeed, but instead of saying no, I thought, well, maybe if we can capitalize on this, and we'll build this sort of automated, as hands-off as possible,
semi-automated,
a hands-off as possible process where people can just say, this is what I want, and here's all the details that you need, press a button and make it happen. Mm-hmm. And that's what Cake Crumbs is to some extent.
Yeah,
and it's sort of the bread and butter of
it's
the business.
It's a subscription web design business. It's simple positioning.
So I think we're probably at the point now where we need someone who can just sit there and just do that.
And they have to love it, because we don't want someone who's going to do it and hate it and make really rubbish websites. Because the websites, they have to be good. But
and every single project is completely different. So I think for the right person, I was kind of thinking, Chris, and you've got loads of experience in this, an apprentice who is keen, and the variety of websites being built would be of interest.
Yeah.
But I remember when working at Nettl that sometimes apprentices can be hit and miss.
Of course, I think like any employees, really. Yeah, you can get some good ones and bad ones.
Yeah, but at least with a proper, it's the wrong way to say it, isn't it? Proper employee. But you've got a CV to work off, and they've done the job before in the past, therefore their capabilities there and they can do it.
Sure,
and you pay for that.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas with an apprentice is a bit
I think when we put out for our most recent apprentice, and by the way, Molly, who we've got as an apprentice at the moment, she's brilliant. She does really well. We had a lot of CVs in, and there's a range of skills there. A lot of people are at college and they bring in their design portfolios, and I guess if we wanted to go more down the design side with the person that we took on next, then there were some good options there, that you can see what they've done in college, and yes, they haven't got years in industry, but actually that can be a really good thing, because you can kind of, in the nicest possible way, show them you are that first, this is how we need you to do it, and they're kind of an open book in terms of imagine someone coming to you that's like 40 and they go, oh no, it just
this is how I do it my way.
You've got the advantages of having experience, but actually in the nice possible way you don't always want that, and it's quite good to kind of go be
able to mold them into what you need exactly.
It puts it more in your court, and I think we find where if they've got shortcomings, well it's you that's told, it's you that hasn't told them the right way, but I'm a big fan of apprentices. The local college is good, and get people sort of off and earning and working and making their case for employ me full time. Now I'm finished. So
indeed. And I think our industry, more than many others, is an industry where actually, do you know what, experience and doing the job is way more valuable than a degree or a qualification.
The apprenticeship that Molly's going through is a digital marketing apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So spot
That's
on.
Quite near.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, if she came to you, how long is the course?
Between 12 and 18 months, depends how quickly.
Okay, so let's say at the end of the course, you hadn't met her ever before, and she came to you and she said, I've just done this course and here's my qualification, but I've never done the job. Or you had a clone of her who hadn't had the qualification, but had been doing the job for 18 months.
Built 5-6 websites for fun.
Who are you going to employ out of those two?
The person that's been doing it, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
again, and I'm not on a sales pitch for apprentices, but I think it's a good best of both, because they're in a minimum of 30 hours a week, but they're in with you all that time, and they've got the assignments to do for college and the things like that, so they're getting that textbook type of theory at the same time as and again, it's not blowing our own trumpets, but I think all the apprentices that we've had through, they've all gone, they've learned more in whilst working and picking up from their colleagues and that sort of stuff than they would from, in the nicest possible way, what their college tutors can teach them. But they'd get that from you, with your skills, Sam, of all the AdWords and ads and it's all that sort of stuff, as well as actually need someone with some web basic design mouse to use your, to kind of could be a happy marriage, but not every there's.
Do you reckon if you put down Nous tomorrow, how valuable do you think your degree in marketing will be?
To be honest, without all the other stuff, without the things I picked up, basically, if I went to university, did 3 years, didn't pick up a laptop or anything, didn't do any of that kind of stuff, not that valuable in and of itself, because my degree, on its own, it doesn't let you do anything. So I've got like a thesis. So within marketing, you need to know design, tech. You've got to know actual marketing, which is branding, positioning, the 4 7 Ps, all that kind of not nonsense, all that kind of stuff. But until like you're in a big agency somewhere where your ideas matter that much, you can't use it. You're crippled.
But again, equally, it's looking at candidate A and candidate B. They've both got the same.
If I'm going for a job,
got a degree in marketing, or that person hasn't. All things being equal, the one that has is going to be better because they've shown that aptitude for learning and that kind of textbook stuff. I mean, again, one of the things with Molly, amongst the other things that she brought, was that she'd done the Duke of Edinburgh Award, so you go through school, and she'd had a part-time job, and she'd done these proactive things. You're kind of like, actually, that's better than someone that's not done anything, and they've not had a job, and they've just sat on the sofa, and they just, again, so it's kind of getting out there, and
you got to do more with your degree. Like I've been asked, because the university fan knew what I was doing. They always asked me to go and speak to people, and I always told everyone that the university is great, the degree is great, but you've got lots of free time. You can spend it partying, having fun, or you can go pick up a job or even do stuff for free. No one likes doing it, but go and helping out people. Like, it's been probably changed the course of my life, just doing little bits and bobs that enable. So when Ian was looking at looking for that talent, I'd already been looking at ads. I'd already understood the media landscape. I knew, not just because I used it, but I'd actually had been studying social, probably a little bit closer than your average Joe. Like my friends, when I was in university, I'd take their phones and try and see what kind of ads they were getting up.
So I
was a bit of a weirdo.
I didn't partner with Sam because Sam had a load of experience actually in. I mean, you don't have
not any
experience in ads, or you don't have it, but your content and your creative thinking, is what I've bought into. Over what you actually know about running ad campaigns, or what you actually know about UI, or that kind of stuff. And that's the bit where I fall over. I'm quite passionate about this side of things, actually. I'm quite passionate about education for I have a little girl, and she's too young yet, but I do have a niece and nephew that are all over, as all kids are their age, all over things like TikTok.
Yes.
Byte
is now
quite coming up thing as well, and they love it. And sometime, not necessarily my sister, but I've seen other parents that are really against that, and playing computer games and stuff like that as well. They're really against that, and I get that because I come from a generation. I think
maths, English,
I don't know about you, but I come from a generation that was the last of the generation that sort of knew life without smartphones and apps and all that, and also know it with. So of course you fit into that category. You're not that old, so I don't know why I said that. And it's I think we need to be careful as parents to dog that immediately, to say, put computer games down, go outside and climb some trees and play in the woods and kick a football about. There should be a good balance, I think, because actually brands will pay a considerable amount of money to kids that know these platforms better than anyone else. And there are careers in computer gaming and that kind of, even as an actual gamer, not a person who builds the games or markets the games, as people that
esports
play
stars is a huge thing.
And again, it has got a bad rap, but I watched a seminar thing where actually, again, that person that plays computer games, they're sort of you're learning problem solving and all these sorts of things, that is useful in work and in business. Of course, all things
there's an element of, if you play 24/7 FIFA, probably not great.
That's right. But I think you're right. It is getting that balance. Kids have iPads and have their own homework on them and all that sort of stuff. So this technology is not going to go away. It's more interesting learning using that than looking at a blackboard sort of stuff. So
Indeed.
it's going to happen. With my kids, again, we kind of had that battle of, you don't just want them stuck in front of a tablet all the time. And
No,
all
of
that,
course.
So, but for car journeys, magical. Happy days. There's only so many times you can play I Spy and stuff on a car journey. But my kids have got a rule and they know it. If they want to use their iPads in the car, they've got to take their reading book and they've got to do 10 pages and then they can use their iPad.
I like that.
If we stop somewhere, they've got to top up with another 5 pages or whatever. So again, I'm happy with that. Gives us the balance. They know they got to do a bit of that stuff.
And do you know what? These devices now, they have tools on there that enable you as a parent
to monitor, control.
the use and how much they're using it. Like my sister's kids have screen time, and it's up until a certain time of the day when it's got to get put down. And I think finding that balance is right, but we absolutely shouldn't be saying I don't think anyway, and what in my opinion doesn't matter for shit, but I think we shouldn't be saying to kids, get your face out of Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. It's nonsense. Put it down. You're never going to earn anything. Go and learn English, maths and science, where you'll be able to excel in life off the back of that.
Pythagoras' theorem,
I do.
I've used that 0 times in my life.
That's it. Well, look, we've nearly done an hour of talking utter nonsense.
We haven't even talked about a lot of other things we want to talk about.
I know that we could talk a lot more, but ultimately this is meant to be a podcast about digital marketing.
We spent half of it on education.
Online advertising. We've gone down a different route for this episode because we're missing a guest, but it's all right. It's going to happen every now and again.
But we've talked about our businesses and hopefully we've given a bit of insight in terms of who we are and what we've done.
Yeah, we're real people.
And anybody that's
you're a bot.
Anyone that's listening that either you've got a digital marketing business, come and tell us about yours and what you do and that sort of stuff. Really.
Yeah, happy to chat.
That's it.
It's
I think I think we're going forward. Hopefully, we'll line up some. Well, we've got guests lined up, etc. So next episode, and we'll be doing this more consistently, as I mentioned, and we'll be throwing some freebies out there as well via the hitpublish.digital website. So keep an eye out for that. And well, thank you for joining us. We're back, and we'll see you on the next episode. Who is it? Who's coming in next? I can't remember whether it's Street Pin or whether it's
depends. We've got a few lined up. I don't know who we'll quite get in next, but we got a LinkedIn expert and we got a local SEO expert.
LinkedIn expert.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We won't say no names, but
Well, we'll spoil the surprise.
That'll be an interesting one, actually. I'm looking forward to that one. We'll learn about LinkedIn and how to utilize that as best way as possible as a small business, and also for do you know what, LinkedIn isn't really used so much for small. I think it's more about it's self-branding, isn't it? More about building your own brand.
Hold that thought.
Hold that thought. Self-branding is the wrong word. What am I looking for?
It's just it's on top of my tongue.
Doesn't matter. Anyway,
Personal brand.
Personal brand. There you go. I hate you.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll be back soon with some more relevant episodes.
Next week we'll talk history.
Bye.
Peace. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this episode.
If you did, please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And most importantly, leave us a comment or review on Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us to bring you new episodes regularly.
If you've got something to say around digital marketing and would like to feature on a future podcast, please do get in touch in any of the usual ways.
You've been listening to Hit Publish with myself, Sam.
Me, Ian.
And me, Chris.